Hello there, everybody, and welcome back to Sunshine Islands. It is now late into the night on the 22nd day of winter, and the reason I haven't greeted everybody in the morning as I normally do is because when we wake up, we are going to have a new chick on our farm to welcome us. And we don't want to miss that because it's very exciting news. Not only is it really exciting just to get a new animal in general, but this is actually the first animal that has been born on our farm. And it's a new species of chicken altogether. So this is an entirely new animal. This was hatched from the silky egg that was given to us by Mirabelle on our birthday. And this chicken's name is going to be Luna, which was a name I wanted to use previously when I accidentally named a chicken Yuna instead. And Luna is short for Luna Freya, who is a character in Final Fantasy 15. Still trying to vary up all of my different Final Fantasy names if I can. And I say we go in and just have a little peek at our new chick. Of course, it's going to live in the coop with the rest of the birds. It'll probably take about 7 to 8 days to grow up fully, so we are going to have to be patient and just wait a little while to actually be able to get a fully grown chicken. And when it's fully grown, we also have to be a little patient then as well, because they don't lay an egg every single day like our regular chickens do. They lay an egg every 3 days. But that's okay because they sell for more, they're a little bit more rare, and if I want to, I can use those eggs to incubate and have more of these chicks as well. And I should go and check at Mirabelle's shop because she may sell them now that I have one on my property. I'm not entirely sure. So right now we are currently at 5 chickens. If I want to hatch more, I'm going to have to put in some feed boxes. And the other exciting thing about this chicken growing up is we only need to have 5 chickens on the farm, 5 fully grown chickens on our farm, for Mirabelle to award us with another sunstone. And it has been forever since we've gotten a sunstone. That's pretty much been on hold because the last 15 sunstones that we need are so far few and in between, and we have to achieve a lot of goals in order to be able to get those sunstones. So a lot of building is required, a lot of putting in work into the farm is required, so that'll be nice to finally move that total on up. I'm just going to check Chen's really quickly here. And of course he does not have a wonderful for me, which is very disappointing. For some reason he has the blue feather in his shop, and I'm not entirely sure why, because we can't use this for any reason really. We can show it to people. We may be able to ship this and get credit for it if you were going for some sort of 100% all items shipped run. I think you'd be a crazy person to do that, but I could test it and see if you can ship this, but for some reason, I don't know why, he has this in his store. And while I'm here, I'm also going to pick up the teleport stone. I don't have a great deal of content to cover today, and I've been talking about testing out the teleport stone for quite some time, so I figured we would take some time to test that out today. And going over to Mirabelle's now, I just want to see, because I am curious, does she? She does not. So it looks like having the new species of chick on our farm does not automatically unlock them in Mirabelle's shop. I will check again when our chicken is an adult. That might actually help. But otherwise, we would otherwise be stuck waiting until we were declared the winner of the chicken festival, which, if I'm remembering correctly, doesn't take place until the summer. By using this little trick with hatching the egg on our farm, we have basically saved 2 seasons worth of waiting to get access to these new chickens, which is pretty neat. So that means I might have to put some more feed bins in my coop if I want to have more of those new chickens. Going over to Gannon's now, I spoke earlier about needing to upgrade the house in order to be able to have a baby. Now, this upgrade does not actually appear until after you get married, which is why I wasn't able to show this off earlier. But now you can see that there is an option for a kid's bed, which you do need in order to be able to have a child. And our current house is not big enough to have a baby. So once you are married, this house upgrade should show up in Gannon's build menu. And it will cost us 700 pieces of lumber and $50,000 if we were to use our own supplies, or Gannon can just build us the whole thing on his own with $90,000. I'm not in any rush to actually get this. Yes, I want to get this as soon as possible. I would like to be able to have a baby as soon as possible. But you are required in this game to be married for a minimum of 30 days before you are able to see a pregnancy event. So if I built this house tomorrow, I would still have to wait until after spring day 21 to be able to see the event where which princess becomes pregnant. So there's no rush to jump on this and get this immediately, especially if you have other upgrades that you want to consider, if you have other things that you haven't quite purchased yet and you're maybe stressing about that, you're torn between which upgrade you should do. Relax and breathe. You do have a month before you can actually use the full size of this house. And I'm not gonna purchase any upgrades or have Gannon do any building today because I would like to sit down and actually do the math, because I do think it is still cheaper for me to purchase lumber from Gannon and save money that way as opposed to having him build it. And there are still lots of things that I want to get. I want to put more feeders into the chicken coop. It's not a bad idea to upgrade the barn and then to also put more feeding bins into the barn. It's not a bad idea for me to get a yogurt maker put in. So I'm gonna just wait on that and come back. Alright, so I guess we can check out our teleport stone now. We might as well. I do have to check on some things on a few of the other islands, and this would be a really good time to test this out. So the teleport stone goes into your tool slot just like any other tool, and you just use it. You just bring it out and use it. A few things to note is that it cannot be used indoors, so you can't use it inside your farmhouse, you can't use it inside of businesses, you cannot use it inside of the mines. So if you're having a blizzard, unfortunately, you can't warp outside and try to cheat the system. It doesn't work like that. So you have to use this thing outdoors. It does cost a little bit of stamina to use, I do believe, but obviously still a huge time saver. And you'll notice on our map that pretty much every single island is available to us, with the exception of Rice, Fruit, and Greenhouse Island. For some reason, and I do not know why, they will not allow you to warp to the 3 islands that are connected to your farm. And it drives me crazy. Because it does still take time to walk from the bottom of Ranch Island towards your orchard and your rice paddy and your greenhouse. So you have to take that into consideration. Personally, when I used the stone, I would come right out of my farmhouse in the morning and I would come right to these islands, take care of business first, and then I would warp right from here. Because even though you're not allowed to warp to those islands, you can warp from them. And then I would usually warp to the farthest away island that I had to go to. So I would usually say warp over to Sprout Island, which saves a huge amount of time. I don't have to walk back to Ranch Island. I don't have to walk through Verger Island to get over to Sprout Island. I can just teleport. You can use this as many times as you want in a day. It's not something that is going to break. You never have to replace it. And because it's a tool instead of an item, fortunately, you will also never drop it, which is fantastic, obviously, because that is a very, very hefty piece of tool to accidentally drop or get rid of. So normally, yeah, I use it to warp around sort of the main islands that we walk to on foot. Use it more for Ranch, Verger, and Sprout Island more than anything. And then say I was over here on Sprout Island, which is still a walk over toward Kurt's boat, I would take it out and then I would say warp over to Animal Island. We can come over here and check on our fish that the ducks have collected. So we'll just quickly grab everything here. And then normally, at this point, because Kurt's boat is so very close and all of these islands are very, very small, I would just take the boat. So if I stopped at Animal Island first and I needed to go over to Mushroom Island, I would just manually take the boat because Kurt's boat doesn't take any time to use. I would finish my business and then say this was my final stop. Say I was done for the day and I didn't have anywhere else to go and I just wanted to kind of go home. Then I would use the stone and go home. So it's a very, very handy little tool. It is great because it's a one-time purchase. It's an investment for sure. It does cost $100,000. It is quite expensive. But it's nice to know that it's not something that you will ever have to replace. It's not something that degrades. It's not something that you can drop. It's not something that you can lose. Really, once you have it, you have it. And it's completely up to you whether you want to use it or not. If you, for some reason, decide you don't want to use it, you just store it and bring it out later. I do think if you're not a huge fan of mining or you're having a really hard time getting the orichalcum that's necessary to make accessories, then the teleport stone is a really good choice. Once you establish yourself and you get your farm going, $100,000 really is not that much. You can make that investment back, especially if you have a lot of animals, if you have maker machines, if you've got all of that stuff on board, plus a wide variety of crops, or you are a very avid miner and you ship a lot of ores, then you'll be able to make that money back. And no matter what you prefer to do in Harvest Moon games or what your forte is, there are a lot of options for making money in this game, so I have no doubt that most players, as long as they know where to find the teleport stone, as long as they know that they have to walk into Chen's with $100,000 to get it to appear, it shouldn't be an unrealistic goal to be able to probably afford this in your second year. And it's a huge, huge time saver, especially if you're working on those friendship sunstones and you're needing to go around and give gifts out every single day. So it's completely up to you what you want to use, whether you want to use the speed shoes. Plus side, they're free, they don't actually cost you any money, but they do cost 60 pieces of orichalcum, which can be difficult to find. But they do make you walk a lot faster, and I've tried taking the shoes off, and I just feel like the game is in slow motion. I can't believe that this used to be my running speed. I just feel like he's got cement shoes on. So it's very hard to go back to not wearing those shoes once you have them. And I would need to do some very, very extensive testing for me to be able to honestly tell you which one saves more time, whether the teleport stone or whether the shoes are a better investment in terms of how much time you will save. But I do think that both are equal options. I don't think you're going to save a extremely huge amount of time with one or the other, because remember, if you just have the teleport stone, you'll be able to get places faster, sure, but you are still going to be stuck at your default normal run speed, which is significantly slower. And both are great options, both don't really have any downsides, they both take up one tool slot, so it is completely up to you, but I thought that I would just kind of go over this briefly because we haven't gone over it before. Very, very straightforward, not much to it. I will probably just stick to the speed shoes. I'm finding that the speed shoes are saving me still a very significant amount of time, and I'm quite happy with that. The only time I take them off is for mining, when I need to be a little bit more precise. But I'm still very happy with the amount of time I'm saving and how quickly and efficiently I'm getting things done. And tomorrow is the Starry Night Festival. Now, I haven't had much time to play, of course, with blizzards and my wedding and all of these sorts of things happening all at once. So I don't want to do a video tomorrow just to cover the festival because I don't have content to really talk about. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just play tomorrow and record that Starry Night Festival event, my first one with my wife, which is pretty exciting. And I'm gonna stick it at the end of this video so that next time I come back, we will have hopefully something completely new to cover, more fresh content to go over without having to miss out on our Starry Night Festival. So I'm gonna say my goodbyes here, and I'm going to insert that video at the end. So watch out for that if you're interested. Thank you all so very much for watching this video, and I hope that I will see you next time.